My best friend Sean and I would often find new places to explore. We were only 12 at the time when we came across an abandoned gold mine. There was quite a few around us, but most had collapsed or been filled in. Sean had found a hole that we could squeeze through, and as we both stared down into it, I started having second thoughts. We were arguing when we saw it, a white light pulsating within the depths of the mine. It was strangely alluring and cut the argument short. As children, we thought it would be treasure. You know, buried gold or something. Sean was the first to go, lowering himself into the hole and then down into a tunnel. I reluctantly followed him down, and we slid on our backs until we got to ground level. The tunnel itself was dark, but we could both stand in it. A few meters in front of us was this white floating light, and although it had no face, I could tell it was watching us. We had no other source of light besides this orb, and as it dimly lit our surroundings, the most I could make out was some decrepit wooden beams and the dirt that surrounded us. Sean did not hesitate and walked closer, but the light slowly floated out of his grasp, teasing him to follow it. The closer Sean walked towards the light, the narrower the space around him became. It seemed like the hole would swallow him if he went any further. But I said nothing and kept watching. I felt too claustrophobic to go any further, but I wanted him to touch it. I wanted to know what it was without taking the risk. The glowing light stopped in front of Sean and floated in place. He jumped out and grabbed it with both hands on either side, causing the orb to shine and illuminate the entire tunnel. I saw Sean's eyes go from wonder to absolute terror when he realised what was in front of him. A gaunt man, perched on all four of his elongated limbs, was staring at us with big white eyes. The orb was sprouting from a flesh-like tentacle that seemed to be attached to his back. Sean staggered away in horror, and the man let out the most blood-curdling scream I'd ever heard. It sounded like hundreds of people screaming seconds apart from each other. The look in his eyes was that of a predator saying, "I got you." But what came next was much worse. I watched saliva flow out of his mouth as it opened to form a wide grin full of spine-like teeth. At this point, my whole body tells me it's time to go, and I turn to the exit. The second I turn away, the light cuts out, and I go into panic mode. I frantically clawed my way back up the way we had come when I heard Sean scream as it attacked him. I remember almost getting to the top and then falling back down to the bottom again. I remember you grabbing my foot, Sean, as a claw-like hand latched around your shoulder. It scratched me in the process of getting to you. I remember you begging me to help you, and I also remember kicking you back down into the darkness. You stopped screaming by the time I got to the top, but I still hear you in my dreams. I'm sorry, Sean. I never told anyone what happened to you, not even your parents. I feared this monster, what our parents would say, and most importantly, I was scared that they would find out that I let you die. I hid the scratch from my parents. It got so infected that it took a month to heal. Even to this day, the scar is so big that every time I put my shoes on, I think of you. Now in my 30s, I don't fear the monster that never came for me, nor am I worried my parents might punish me. The one thing that haunts me is that every time I put my shoes on, I see the image of my foot in your face, kicking you back down there to die. I hear your screams fall to a whimper as the sounds of your flesh and bones being ripped apart drowns out your last call for help. I'm confessing all of this in the hopes that someone will remember your story. I'm coming back down for you tonight, Sean. Whether I live or die.